All right, hello everybody. I hope you guys are all being healthy, taking care of business, kind of adjusting to our new reality here with our distance learning. What I wanted to do today was go through your financial aid packages and answer any questions you may have about what it means for you to have financial aid, what are the different kinds of financial aid, how you access your financial aid, all that sort of thing. This is something I would usually do in a big presentation in front of everybody, so I still wanted to offer that to you even though we're no longer attending school. So big questions. What is your financial aid package? How are you going to pay for college? How are you going to pay for your education after this year? So your financial aid package is going to be an award letter that is sent to you either by email, in the actual mail, or you're just going to access it on your portal. It'll come either with your acceptance to a college or it'll come soon after. So most of the colleges you should have already received your financial aid award from. Some of them may be lagging a little bit, but they should all be coming in the next week or two. You want to make sure that you for sure have your financial aid before you make your college decision, because that can have a really big impact on which college you're going to go to and how successful you may be at that college. What your financial aid letter is going to do is it's going to give you details about the cost of attendance and what different financial aid you can receive. Now, this financial aid, again, is optional. You do not have to accept it. So just because it says you're receiving loans, you're receiving this, you're receiving that, you don't have to take it. Each letter, each financial aid award is going to be specific to one school. So the financial aid you get from Cal State San Bernardino is not necessarily the same you're going to get from UC Riverside or Cal Baptist or, San Diego State. It's all going to be different, or it could be the same. You don't know. You need to receive the financial aid from each specific school. And also, each financial aid award is only for your freshman year. So for anything that is like a grant or a scholarship, you need to contact the school and find out if it's a renewable grant or a renewable scholarship. What will sometimes happen, especially private schools, is they're going to tell you, oh, you're getting this $20,000 scholarship, but they don't tell you that it's only for your freshman year. So what ends up happening is you got that scholarship for your freshman year. Sophomore year comes around, you have to pay the full $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 in total. You're not receiving that scholarship anymore. So you want to make sure any scholarship, any grant, you find out if it's renewable or if it's just for that 1 year. And also, big reminder, you are only eligible if you submit your FAFSA or your DREAM Act application every single year. So next year, as a freshman in college, you're going to have to submit your FAFSA or your DREAM Act application in order to receive financial aid for your sophomore year of college. All right, so this is kind of a basic cost of attendance letter. So this is a breakdown from the 2018-2019 school year for a general UC. I know some of you are going to Cal State, some of you are going to private schools. I just kind of pulled this up. Yours will be different, but it'll at least be similar. So it's going to give you an estimated cost of attendance. It's going to give you how much are your tuition and fees, housing and meals, books and supplies, transportation, and then other educational costs. This is an estimated cost for the average student. It's going to be different depending on your situation. It may be slightly altered, slightly different. However, each of these payments is going to be kind of approached differently. So what I'm going to do now is go through each of these different kinds of payments and let you sort of find out what are the differences between them. So what are the differences between tuition and fees versus books and supplies? All right, so the first type of payment is tuition and fees. This is a mandatory payment. You can't go to school if you don't pay tuition. It's not that complicated. If you do not pay these, you will be dropped from any class that you've signed up for. You will be disenrolled from the school. So there will be a date every quarter or semester, depending on what kind of school you go to, where they'll say it'll be the pay by date. If you do not pay by this day, you're going to get dropped from the school. So tuition fees are a mandatory payment. They're going to cover your classes. That's the tuition part. Your fees are going to cover stuff like the library, computer labs, gym, health center, career center, all the different campus resources. So I would encourage you to make use of these campus resources because you are paying for it whether you go or not. So the gym on campus, the health center if you get sick, the career center so you can learn more about jobs and internships. Those are all things that you are paying for whether or not you attend or not. So you should go and make use of these things that you're paying for. You have to pay this directly to the school, either each quarter or semester that you're attending the school. So if it's a quarter system, you're going to pay this each quarter. If it's a semester system, you're going to pay it each semester. Housing and meals, this is an estimated payment that's going to depend on where you live, if you have roommates, and if you have a meal plan. So if you live on campus, you're going to be paying this directly to the college every quarter. So at the beginning of the quarter, your housing plan will be due. You pay it. If you don't pay it, they're going to kick you out of campus. Okay, so depending on if you have a meal plan, depending on if you have roommates, or you in a single, a double, a triple, that's going to vary the cost of your housing and your meals. If you live off campus, let's say you live at home, then you're going to have to figure out with your parents, with your family, how are you paying for food? Are you paying your family and parents rent? If you live in an off-campus apartment or a house off campus with friends, with roommates, you're going to have to figure out how much is that going to cost you, and then you're going to have to pay that rent, utilities, water, electricity, internet, all that kind of stuff. You're going to have to pay that every month. So if you live on campus, you're going to be paying at the beginning of each quarter or the beginning of each semester. If you live off campus, you're going to be paying monthly fees depending on where you live. Books and supplies. So this is a super estimate. The number the college gives you is totally just made up nonsense. That's not a real number. You're going to have to buy books and supplies, but there's going to be a lot of variation between how much your books and supplies cost versus your roommates' books and supplies versus your friends versus your brothers. So a laptop, right? Do you have a laptop? If you don't, you may need to buy one of those. They'll make college, that could really change your college, especially with our current situation of distance learning. Are you going to have access to the internet? Are you going to have access to computer outside of campus? Are you going to have access to a printer, or are you going to need to go to campus to print, right? All those sort of things. Are you going to need books? So some classes you're going to need the book for every single day. Other classes you don't need the book for at all. You're going to need to kind of play that by ear as you go. You're going to pay for those things individually. So you're going to pay for your books. You're going to pay for all your supplies, your pens, your pencils, all those sort of things. Your professor in college is not going to have a pencil to give you for your tests. In fact, even when you're in college, you have to bring your own Scantron to the test. That is something that you have to go to the bookstore and buy before you can take a test. The professors do not provide those things. Okay, transportation, other educational costs. These are, again, totally random. It's going to depend on your situation. If you are living on campus, how often are you going home? How often are you staying there? How far away is it? Are you flying to this place, or are you driving? What is the situation? If you live off campus, how much are you going to spend? How much are you going to spend in gas every day, every week, every month? Are you going to campus? Do you have classes every day? Or do you have classes twice a week? Do you have classes 3 times a week, right? How often are you driving across the city to get to college? That will impact your costs. So these are things you want to think about. If you have to go to college, you're commuting 40, 50, an hour and a half to go to college, you might want to think differently about how often your classes are. How many times a day, how many times a week are you going? Okay, this is a typical kind of financial aid package. It's a very generic one. So in this case, someone named Brittany, she's eligible for the Cal Grant, she's eligible for the Pell Grant, and they're also offering loans, an outside scholarship, and a university grant. So these are each going to be a different form of financial aid. Loans, grants, scholarships are all different kinds of financial aid. So I'm going to go in depth about what these mean and what they mean for you. All right, the first type is gift aid. Gift aid is money that you do not need to pay back. So this is going to be something that is given to you that you do not have to pay back. So this is our best kind of financial aid. These are our grants and our scholarships. The Cal Grant and the Pell Grant are the 2 main ones that most of you are going to be eligible for. Those are based on your income. The Cal Grant is also based on your grades. For some of these grants and scholarships, you're going to need to maintain a GPA in order to continue to be eligible. Right? You receive this grant or scholarship because you were a 3.0 student. They want you to continue to be a 3.0 student, or whatever the limit is for that particular grant or that particular scholarship. So as you accept these grants and you accept these scholarships, you need to find out what you need to maintain in order to continue to receive that money year after year after year. The Cal Grant and the Pell Grant, those are 2 main ones that most of you are going to be receiving. This is a lot of money that you can get to pay for college. And again, these are things you do not need to pay back. So if you receive the Cal Grant, you're getting that money no matter what for next year. So you need to decide, or I shouldn't say no matter what, as long as you're going to a California school. So you need to decide, hey, I'm getting this $7,000 to go to a Cal State. I'm getting this $13,000 to go to a UC. Does that make me feel more financially stable to attend these colleges? I know a lot of you are thinking about attending Moreno Valley College or RCC because they're free. Well, if you receive the Cal Grant and the Pell Grant and this other scholarship, your 4-year education may be free also. So you want to think about those things. Okay, loans. Loans are financial aid that you have to pay back with interest. So you may take a $6,000 loan out that you have to pay back, and your final payback is going to cost you like $11,000. That happens. So this is the kind of last source of financial aid you want to take out as loans. Subsidized loans are better for you than unsubsidized. So you want to take out subsidized loans first, then unsubsidized. The difference is that the government helps pay for some of the subsidized loans versus an unsubsidized loan. These are typically going to be dispersed each quarter or semester, and you can return any unused money immediately and it will not count against you. So when I was in college, I would take out loans, and I would have like $1,000 left over at the end. I would then have the choice of either paying back that $1,000 right away or keep the $1,000 in order to have money to spend. All right, parents, a lot of these banks are not trying to loan out $20,000 to an 18-year-old. I'm sorry, they don't trust you. So there's a limit to how many loans are going to be offered to you as an 18-year-old attending college. The rest is probably going to be offered for your parents. So you may need to talk to your parents about how much the money they are comfortable taking out in loans and whose responsibility it will be to pay these back. My parents took out loans on my behalf that I am currently paying back, right? They trusted me to do that. Other families may not have the same financial situation that I have, and I understand that, and these are the conversations you need to be having with your parents. Okay, work study. Work study is a job, and usually they're on campus, sometimes they're not on campus, and you're not going to be paying taxes for the income that you're receiving. So that way you're able to, the government pays those taxes, which means you're able to keep more money that you're making. The money for that is going to go directly into your school account. However, this does not happen until after you have worked. So you're going to get on your financial aid award, it's going to say like $1,500 in work study. That's not free money that you get. You have to get a job, get hired, work, and then you'll get paid. So that's not money that you can count on being there. That's money that you have to earn. Okay. Once you've decided which school you're going to attend next fall, you're going to have to accept your financial aid package. That's something that can be done on the student portal, or you're going to need to call and contact the school to talk to their financial aid department if you have any questions or any problems. I know a lot of you guys are nervous about calling, talking to adults. You're going to have to get over it because a lot of this is going to be really, really important. They're going to give you additional information about how you need to, any steps you need to take to receive your loans, receive your gift aid. You're going to need to keep checking your portal, keep checking your student email in order to figure out when this money is going to be available to you. How it'll typically work once you start school, or usually around like July, August, September, the money is going to be deposited in your student account. So it'll go directly into your student account. You then have the choice of, you can take the leftover money out of your student account, deposit it in your bank account. You can leave it in your student account, or you can repay it. So sometimes you will have extra money that wasn't needed to pay for your tuition, wasn't needed to pay for your housing. You have that extra money. What are you going to do with it? Some of you are going to be financially responsible. You're going to, pay it back your loans right away. You're going to put this in savings. You're going to keep money in order to be for, rainy day. Some of you guys are going to go Coachella. So you guys just need to figure out what you need to do and what is responsible for you. So again, they're going to be deposited directly into your student account. The university is going to charge this account for all the mandatory fees. So tuition and fees, housing and food, any purchase of the bookstore, all this is going to go directly out of your student account. And then anything that is extra, so if you do not get enough in financial aid, you need to pay out of pocket for whatever is left of your schooling. So if you only get, $2,000 a quarter and it costs $3,000, you need to cover that extra amount. So anything that is not covered, you have to pay out of pocket. Anything that's extra, you get to keep. So that's sort of how it works. All right. Remember that this cost of attendance is an estimate. It may be more or less depending on your situation. So for some of you, this cost is going to be not as much as you pay. For some of you, you're going to end up paying more, especially those of you that like going to see movies, going to concerts, going on trips, all that kind of stuff. You may end up ratcheting up a lot more money than you currently have. So you need to make sure that all of your mandatory payments are covered, that you have enough money either within your grants, your loans, your parents, your job, whatever it may be, that you have enough money to make your mandatory payment each quarter. All right, so if you have any questions, go ahead and email me, or you can send me a message on Remind, and we'll be able to help you out. So as you're going through these kind of college decision-making processes, as you're trying to figure all of that out, you're gonna wanna make sure that you are taking your financials into account. And the biggest thing that I would encourage you is, especially those of you that are really considering going to a community college just because you feel like you can't afford to go to a 2 or a 4 year, to really look deep into your financial aid situation and make sure that you have all that information before you make a decision.